impressive for the Gators. First time we'll see Riley Trilicek here this weekend. The Gators will go to the lefty.
Yeah, and I love this move of bringing in Trilicek, being able to get some innings against this Mercer team, someone who's predominantly going to work east and west. She has a strong drop and a strong curveball, and if she can command it, she's feeling good.
Meanwhile, for the Mercer Bears, led by Lindsay Fico in her second season, former Gator, of course, Rebecca Laudino will be at the top of the lineup, a lineup that did not go away yesterday against Elizabeth Hightower. Despite the score, Mercer fought back. They had a 2-run at third inning, were able to pound out 5 hits and force Hightower into some tough situations in her start yesterday. So, first of 2 today, Gators and Mercer Bears, followed by, at least we think for now, Florida and Louisiana. It was supposed to play last night, and rain washed that away. So, sunny, bit cool here in the morning. First pitch is a strike, 11:02 a.m. Eastern Time, our first pitch today. Bit of a chill in the air. I'm sure that'll change as the day goes along. About 65 degrees at first pitch.
Whew. Definitely chilly.
A little bit of wind, too, which adds to it. Mercer comes in at 6-16. They've lost 4 straight games. Gators winners of 5 straight at 16-3. 1 ball, 1 strike to Laudino. Shortens the bunt, whiffs on it for strike 2. Laudino, best hitter in this lineup at 385 at the top. Has driven in 11 runs. Had a really good start to the doubleheader yesterday against Rutgers. Had a 3-for-4 beginning to her day. Had 4 hits yesterday in the double dip. 1-2. Got a piece. Leads this group in just about every statistical category, at least the main ones offensively, batting average and hits. Tied for the lead in stolen bases. Has struck out the second most on the team entering the weekend. 1-2. And this is an important start for Riley Trilicek to continue to build that confidence in the depth, I would say, of this pitching staff. You're going to need her in big spots, especially as a lefty. And the count full.
I think the confidence is key, is how you just mentioned that, is being able to get some innings and continue to win moments and feel that success, so that she can carry that type of success over into the SEC play. She is crucial for this staff, and if she can continue to develop and get out of tough situations.
How about Laudino working back in the count to work a walk? So not a good start for Trilicek. Leadoff base runner here for Mercer. You look at Trilicek's numbers coming in, 5-1, sub-3 ERA, 2.93 ERA. This is her 7th start of the year. Just over 28 innings, and that's been an issue. Walks for her, 9 walks, and now 10 walks to 8 strikeouts. Here's now Tori Hedgecock just underway.
Definitely not the numbers that you want to see as a pitcher. You want to see yourself be more efficient, more effective. That's why it's so important with that drop ball that she has, having that type of command, being able to locate it. But, you know, first inning, just get some jitters out, got some energy. Just got to kind of zone in more.
Little roller, just 1 play for Walsh. That's on to first. Laudino into second. So a productive out for Tori Hedgecock. Goes 4-3, and there's 1 gone. Got a chance to see Lindsay Fico as she was getting off the bus. Pretty good timing for us, but it was good to see her before the game. Really likes how her team continues to fight and have those small victories within a game. That's what they got with the Gators yesterday in a 2-run third. Helm bashes this to third. Eccles chases back the runner. And throw on to first for the out. Yeah, I think, Francesca, they probably could have had Laudino, who's very far off the bag at second, but Eccles tossed that to first for the out.
Well, that's what Laudino's trying to bait Eccles to pay attention to her. She's like, hey, here I am. Make the throw so that I can go to third base. Yeah. But Eccles is a veteran in the field and was not baited by it, and instead got the sure out.
Bailey Lavina stands in, takes a strike.
And going back to your comment that you said about Coach Lindsay Fico, something that we talked about was getting her her team to understand small moments, small victories are huge. If we can take that type of a victory and carry it over into our conference play, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Lofted in the air, right field. Pollard has the shades on the visor, so after a leadoff walk, 2 groundouts and a little pop out to short right field. It's Mercer nothing. Gators coming up when we come back.
Mom, can we get a puppy, Mom?
Please?
Girls, pets are a big expense.
Maybe try switching your car insurance to Progressive. You could save hundreds.
Thanks, TV Dad. We'll think about it, okay?
Look what I found.
A puppy!
Oh, no.
I wish TV Dad was always in charge.
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly.
Hey, Seth, you getting ready to roll?
Yep, road trip. And now that I'm rolling with Verizon, I get why more people choose it.
Nice.
And I got this incredible iPhone 14 Pro on them.
Oh, love the camera. So you got an amazing network and save money doing it.
That's how I roll. Oh, no.
You like your keys in the car again?
Yeah, I did.
It's $1,500, but hurry, this offer won't last long. Get the savings you want on the network you deserve. Verizon. Value of up to $1,700, but hurry, this offer won't last long. Get the savings you want on the network you deserve. Verizon.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Oh no, I have to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Wherever you are, be there with Starbucks ready-to-drink coffee.
I got a heart like a truck. It's been drugged through the mud.
Ram owners have heart for being fearless, determined.
Tim Walton in his 18th season putting together this lineup. This is actually the lineup that was supposed to be in the book for the Louisiana game last night, second game of the doubleheader. 3 and 4 in the lineup. Eccles Gigante, you highlight them. They had a combined 3 homers and 11 runs driven in the first game against the Mercer Bears. And it's Grace Taylor who will see the start. Did pitch in relief yesterday, Francesca, against the Gators.
Now you're going to see she's going to have that velo somewhere up to the in between those mid-60s. Usually goes with her rise ball. That is her best pitch. And in the 2 innings she threw against the Gators last night, produced 6 fly ball outs. So you know Taylor's rolling when she's in the upper part of that zone getting those outs.
In 2 innings, only 1 earned run, allowed 3 hits, a walk and no strikeouts. She was the 3rd pitcher for Mercer yesterday in a 5-inning run rule loss. Gators' 11th run rule win. 9th game with 10 or more runs. As Falby stands in, started off here in the home first. Gators entered the weekend 5th in batting average, 3rd in on base, 3rd in scoring. Pretty good numbers. Here's the 1-1. Falby's numbers to start the year: 467, is driven in 10 with 3 extra base hits, 11 stolen bases. Leads the team in hits and runs scored. Clocks this foul. Preseason USA Softball Top 50 watch list. Designated for some of the best in collegiate softball. Taylor comes home. Line sharply off the glove. Fair ball. Dorval, the 3rd baseman, watches that go all the way to the sidewall, and that's going to be an easy double on a liner off the glove of the 3rd baseman for Kendra Falby.
You know, when defending a player like Kendra Falby, you need to tell yourself, I have to be quick and I have to be efficient, because one mistake gets that speedy Falby in scoring position, and that is exactly what happened on that play. Take a look here. It's a line drive right down the line, the 3rd base line, and Dorval just couldn't come up with it, so she tips it, and easy stand-up. I don't want to say a double, but
yeah, it officially goes down as a double. An infield double, essentially, as Skylar Wallace takes ball 1.
An infield double. Kendra Falby, you're so good.
Setting new trends. That's already her 4th double of the year. Brings in Wallace, hitting .486. He has 4 homers. He's driven in 21. Yesterday did have an RBI, but didn't really get a whole lot to hit. Was hit by a couple of pitches. Also flew out to left. Wallace didn't like that pitch.
I don't think she really loved how her swing felt yesterday. And when you feel like you're not getting a lot of good pitches, you know, pitchers are being careful. They've tried to pitch around her because of the threat that she possesses. You know, all of that wrapped into one can sometimes get in your head as a batter. And that's why you always have to stick to what your game plan is and still have confidence in yourself. I mean, softball is such a mental sport. It's important that your self-talk is always the most positive to yourself.
Ball 4, 5-pitch walk to Wallace. Another free pass here in the Bubbly Invitational. The Gators shortstop will bring in the star of yesterday, Charlotte Eccles, career high 7 RBI with a home run out to right field. That was no doubter. Already eclipsing 30 RBI, 32 on the season. Swing looks really good right now. Yesterday was her 39th career home run. This twist at the off speed for strike 1. 7 RBI yesterday, tied for 3rd most overall in a single game in Gator program history. We talked yesterday about Francesca's big game, Cal State Fullerton's Judy Garman Classic. That was a 6 RBI game where he had 2 home runs, just a bit shy of making that list.
Should have been better. Should have been better.
Brianna Little had a 9 RBI game against Mercer in 2015. Eccles swats one on a line, left field. Falby had to stop, now starts around third. The throw is cut off. Falby in on a slide. And Eccles 8 RBI on the weekend, gets us started here in the first inning.
Well, Charlotte Eccles just picking up where she left off last night, driving in some ribbies. Gets this pitch outside corner, goes with it. It was hit super hard to the left fielder Hall. So initially Coach Walton had Falby stopping, but then he had her go knowing that the left fielder wasn't coming through. And of course that speed is gonna plate the first run for the Gators.
That's when she's at her best, spraying the ball to all fields. Homered almost to straightaway right yesterday. Had that double to left center, and that hit out to left. Olivia Gigante, first career 2-homer day. To the same spot in the ballpark. Here shortens, runners take off, throw down to third. I think this is interference here.
Yeah, I think they're gonna call obstruction. Third baseman Dorval was blocking the bag before she was getting ready to make a play to receive the ball.
I think Wallace still would have gotten in there too, just because of how good her slide was. The throw beat her there. Now an opportunity for more production for Gigante. Now 11 runs driven in this year. Pops this up, range is foul. That's one of those games, Francesca, right, where if you're a freshman especially, you're so excited that you probably can't sleep.
I think you're just excited to be able to help your team produce runs and produce wins. As a freshman, there's a lot of questions like how is my amateur game going to carry over to the collegiate level? And so when you're helping contribute, it just feels good. Feels right.
Feels right.
Feels right. Yes, Olivia Gigante's swing actually reminds me a lot of Megan Bush's swing.
Okay.
Yeah, the way she gets her hands in her slot, very, very similar. And it makes sense because they both launch moonshot home runs.
Yeah, a lot of power. Little jam job pop-up. Late run in for Bailey Lavina, the second baseman. And Gigante is out.
It's a big out right there for the pitcher, Grace Taylor. Have a lot of pressure from the Gators right now, already giving up 1 run. Things could potentially spiral out of control, but instead Grace Taylor goes with that bread and butter pitch of the rise ball and gets the 4th hole hitter to pop out.
Here's Reagan Walsh. Wasn't in the lineup yesterday. Was slated to start against Louisiana. Pitch from Taylor, high and away. So Walsh back in, hitting .320, a couple of home runs, 15 RBI. Adjusting to that new position for her on the right side of the infield. Sam Rowe got the start yesterday. That's what you're going to see, essentially a platoon at that position between Walsh and Rowe. And maybe you would have seen Pollard there as well, but with the injury to Bailey Goddard, Pollard has been relegated towards the outfield, out and right. And it's quickly 3-0 now.
Just never know where you're going to go, right?
That's right.
That's a huge reason why coaches love to recruit just straight up athletes, players that can play multiple positions, because you don't know what might happen, what injuries could take place. But if you can hit, they can find a spot for you.
As Walsh works a walk. Yeah, that is the case more often than not. Sometimes you just need to recruit the high-level athletes, because at this level, Florida, Alabama, Oklahoma, you have so many players that can play, say, shortstop or third. You got to find ways to get their bat in the lineup. And here's case in point with, Caleb Pollard. Really highly recruited player. Already has 7 doubles on the year. Taylor struggling with the zone here. Gators had 3 runs in the first yesterday, and a couple of 5 spots in the second and the third. 1-1, lofted foul. 13th consecutive start for Pollard today. 7 of those have been in right field. Has actually made 4 starts at short. How about this start to your career? 9 of your 12 hits have gone for extra bases.
That's a good stat.
Pretty good. The 1-2 is a high hopper to second, shoveled on to second for 1. Relay is well late. Pollard will get an RBI. On the fielder's choice as Wallace comes across. Gators double up their lead. It's 2-0.
Doesn't always have to be that big hit to be able to score a run, but just being able to get the ball on the ground can be just as effective. And on the flip side, that's a good pitch from Grace Taylor, producing a ground ball out to help yourself get out of this jam.
So 7th batter of the inning will be Avery Gales. Third appearance of the weekend here for Grace Taylor. Was in relief against Rutgers and Florida. Pitched pretty solid against Rutgers in 3 1/3, allowed just 1 earned run. Runner takes off first and third place. Snap toss to third, gets away. Eccles will take off towards home. That's a carbon copy of yesterday. An E2 throwing error to third that allows a run to come in.
Yeah, and I'd like to see this play again, because I don't know if I would call it an E2 on the catcher, Sophie Sumner. You're right, we did see that yesterday, and that throw was quite errant. But in this play, I thought maybe the third baseman, Dorval, pulled her glove too soon low to make the tag and wasn't able to come up with it. We say this all the time in softball, you cannot rush what your next move is going to be. You can't already be thinking tag without having full possession of the ball.
Well, they did officially give it an E2 on the catcher, but you're right. That's a ball that's got to be caught at third base.
I mean, was it a little high, like towards her face? Sure, but
that was an eye-level throw.
You can still catch that.
It was. Well, Lindsay Fico having the same conversations. We talked to her in the pregame. She said we just got to limit those errors, those big mistakes.
Control what you can control. That's not. I mean, that's like an error that you shouldn't make. There's sometimes errors happen, especially mental errors when you're facing a top team like Florida, but something like that you can control.
It's the same situation in a first and third play with Eccles and Falby. It was an E2 throw down the third that allowed Falby to score. It actually was the Gators' first run yesterday. So Florida starts off with a 3 spot, not done yet. Avery Gels adding that slapping routine to the mix this year. High bouncer to short. Laudino stabs it, throw is late. A little bit hesitant was the shortstop as Pollard was whizzing on by, and that little hesitation allowed Gels to reach.
That's tough play as a shortstop when you have a base runner that's going right in front of you and you have a high chopper at the same time. I think you still have to think to yourself, I have to get rid of this quickly because Avery Gels has speed. So that's a lot going on, but still, you know, hats off to Laudino for sticking with that play and making it clean.
Good hustle from Gels out of the box. Ends a hitless stretch for Gels, was over previous 7. Rolled an infield hit. So here's Longley now. 8th batter to the plate, 4 hits in this inning. At least so far, certainly not, I guess, the fireworks from Florida finding ways to score, but effective nonetheless. First and third play on. Gels swipes second, and now second and third. Second stolen base of the year for Avery.
It's always nice to be on the back end of a steal sometimes. Yeah, that's how I got my stolen bases.
Longley pops it up. Dorval, the third baseman's got it, and that will end the inning. But the Gators get 3 of 2 today. Beautiful sunny Saturday, sunflower Saturday at the ballpark for the Gators. Had 8 to the plate in the first. Morgan Hall leads it off here in the second, 5, 6, and 7. Trilicek faced 1 above the minimum in the first. Look out.
Ooh. Head on a swivel.
Sophie Sumner on deck didn't even move.
She did. She just kind of like moved her hips
right
out of the way.
Behind her, off the netting. You know who I marvel at? You know, Tim Walton in those situations, when he stands so close to home plate at third, he doesn't even flinch now. Those hot shots. Little jam job roller to Wallace at short. 1 up, 1 down. Look at how close this came to some expensive equipment on that previous foul ball. Coming right into your, oh, maybe not that one. We'll get that look at it.
Just trust us. It almost broke the camera lens.
You got to keep your head on a swivel if you're a cameraman down there. Got our guy Jeff in that area.
Head on a swivel, camera on a swivel.
That's right.
Stay on the swivel.
Wonder who made up that phrase.
Swivel?
Yeah. Big swivel.
Big swivel.
All right, coming right at you.
Eek.
And that was right at Sophie Sumner, too, on deck, and boom.
Oh, the ricochet back, too.
It's dangerous down there.
I mean, it's a good thing that they have good hand-eye coordination so they can get out of the way.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes to Sumner. Down low. Think of everything our crew has to deal with on, you know, everyday basis, whether it's the elements, the heat.
I always feel bad they have to listen to us talk.
That, you know what, that's probably number 1.
I know.
Trilicek fires. That's a little check swing, roller, indecisiveness, but somehow Longley still gets it there in time. I thought originally at first glance they hit off the foot, off the deflection, but it was just the spin of how it hit the bat.
Well, Sumner just gets caught in between of should I swing or should I not swing. So it was a check swing, lands in the middle of nowhere, and you said indecisiveness between Trilicek and the catcher Longley of whose ball it is. But don't forget, Longley came into this catching position front shortstop, so she has a lot of athleticism within her talent. So still able to come up with that for an out.
This softly hit up the middle on one hop for Wallace at short. And that does it. So 2 ground balls to short, little roller out to Longley, and Trilicek has faced one above the minimum through an sun. What do you call those type of hats, Francesca?
It's a straw hat?
It is a straw hat. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound ridiculous.
It's fine, I got you.
Perfect for a day like this.
You know, they make them really cool too, like underneath the rim, like they have like waterproof gator print underneath it. I know. I swear, I'm not making that up.
Getting set to get underway here in the bottom of the second. Gators 8 to the plate in the first. I believe we have defensive change too. Bailey Levino, who's the second baseman, is now playing at first without a first base glove. I'm waiting to see who is at second.
It's a pretty small mitt at first base.
Yeah. Kistler will start it off. One hopper to second. Well, this is a good way to introduce our new second baseman for the first out. That is Avery Barton, who got the start at third yesterday, is now playing at second. Nothing gets past these eagle eyes, you know?
I was very impressed. I wouldn't be able to see that.
One pitch for the first out. Here's Kendra Falby. Lays down a bunt. Barton tries to cover. Throw. Not in time. This is what Kendra did yesterday. 4 for 4 at 3 infield hits and a double. And she's been using the legs all weekend.
You know, right off the bat, I thought this was going to be another easy play for Falby to be safe, but they made it really close with coming up, charging this ball, and then throwing the ball on the run, the only chance that you have to make it close, and they do it. But again, Falby just too good, too fast.
Falby takes off on first pitch. Gets fouled away. It'll be interesting that the battle within the team of who claims the crown for most stolen bases. Last year it was Skylar Wallace decisively. This year, Falby has the early lead by 1. I asked in the preseason who has better straight line speed, like who would win in a race. I didn't get any answers.
What did you get then?
I got essentially both thinks that they would win by not answering.
Well, you know, when you look at last year, Falby was a freshman. She had some struggles, so she wasn't always at the top of the lineup, so she wasn't always getting on base to where she could steal bases. But Skylar Wallace was at the top of the lineup to steal.
Here she takes off, and will get there quite easily. That's her 12th of the year and her 14th attempt.
Yeah, but the sophomore success that Falby is having so far allows her to be that leadoff hitter, get herself on with that speed, and then easily turn it into a double by stealing that second base.
And to be fair, I only did ask Kendra Falby. I actually forgot to ask Skylar about who would win.
So now we're getting the facts, all the facts here.
But Kendra refused to answer. She said, I don't know, everybody always asks me that. I think we should just have a race. And then I said, well, you think you'd win, right? And then she just laughed. Wallace yanks one on 2 hops to second. Off balance throw from Barton. Still able to get Wallace.
That was pretty close at first base. I thought maybe she was going to be safe.
I think Barton lost her footing.
And she definitely lost her footing. This ball takes her up the middle. You see her slip, still tries to collect it.
Oof.
That's close.
Very close. I think there's a chance that they could possibly win a challenge if they did. 1-0 to Eccles for a strike. Just told in my ear, too. Also want to set it straight. There actually is no replay in this tournament because you can't have it for all of the games. You can't just have it for Florida because only the Florida games are televised. So when you would usually have replay, you don't have it this weekend. So if you're looking down the pike, there's a close play, whether it's in this game or the next game, there won't be the opportunity to look at it. So that's important to know.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got to be fair.
Two to Eccles. Eccles, 8 RBI in the weekend. RBI single in the first inning to opposite field and left. And has a runner right at the doorstep. Checked her swing, appeal down to third. No, says Jason Smith. Runs driven in Eccles' last 7 games. Back up the middle, snared by Taylor, gets the final out. So that saved what would have been Eccles' 9th run driven in over the last 2 games. Nice play by the Mercer pitcher. Riley Trilicek goes back to work in the top of the 3rd inning. Gators 3 runs on 4 hits. We'll take on 8, 9, and 1 here in the Mercer lineup. First time through the Bears lineup for Trilicek. He's faced just 1 above the minimum. 5 ground outs, 1 out through the air. Faces Paris Wiggs here to start. And Trilicek last year was more in a relief role. 4D innings out of the bullpen, 4 saves, a career high. Pitched to a 1.7 ERA. Actually had a really good fall, too. Did not allow an earned run in 14 1/3 innings.
And I always love the development that Coach Bosch and Coach Walton have for young pitchers, like someone like Riley Trilicek. You don't necessarily want to throw them, right into the fire. So they limit their innings so they can build that confidence up. So then when you get to their junior year, someone just like Riley Trilicek, they're allowed to earn more innings and show up a little bit more so they can try to be inserted in bigger moments and bigger games.
Actually got the opening night start, too. Riley down in Tampa. 2-1 hit off the end of the bat, tumbling towards second for Reagan Walsh. And Paris Wiggs retired. So 4 consecutive outs on the ground for Trilicek, and that's when she's at her best.
You said it, Kyle. I mean, she is that low ball pitcher. All of those drop balls and even her curve balls are going to hit right below the kneecaps of a batter. So you know her movement is on when you're seeing those ground balls.
Now it's up to Alyssa Woods in the 9 spot. High chopper for the slapper. Wallace playing shallow on the infield. Quick rhythm toss to first. Get the speedy Woods for the 2nd out.
That's beautifully done by the shortstop Wallace. You know you have to get rid of the ball quickly, and because of that hang time, Wallace understands that as I field this ball, I need to get my lower half in a ready throw position, and that's what she does. So it's set yourself up so by the moment you catch it, you can get rid of it.
Back to the top of the lineup, Rebecca Laudino. Trilicek trying to work a quick 1-2-3 inning. Has retired now 8 in a row since the leadoff walk to Laudino led off the game. There's 25 pitches in. Punt laid down, twist foul. And last year we saw Trilicek much in that Katie Chronister role, right? Where you had 5 infielders, try to induce ground balls, come in those relief situations where Katie was so good towards the end of her career. 0-2 is swung through for strike 3. That's 9 straight retired for Riley Trilicek since the walk led off. Back here at the ballpark, To the home third we go. Olivia Gigante will lead it off for the Gators. 3 runs on 4 hits. 3 spot in the first against Grace Taylor. Came in with a 5.76 ERA. Gigante fouls back the first pitch. Taylor settled down in that second after facing 8 batters, giving up those 3 runs on 3 hits in the first. Gigante popped out to second her first time after that 2-homer performance yesterday. Now over the last few games has been slated into that cleanup spot and in the DP. That's where Reagan Walsh usually was to start the year. Now Walsh batting behind Gigante. There's Walsh on deck. A lot of power between those two.
A lot of young power. You got the freshman within Olivia, and then Reagan Walsh, just a sophomore. So these two athletes are still developing their swings, finding themselves here. So a lot of potential to make huge impacts in their career here at Florida.
3-1 blister to center field, and that's down for a hit, cut off by Woods. Gigante continues to swing it very well. Leadoff single here in the third.
I just love how simple Gigante's swing is. She doesn't have a lot of movement within her swing. She just sees ball and hits ball and has all that power that she naturally produces and that torque.
Led the Bat Busters in home runs.
I didn't think I knew she was a bat buster.
Yeah. #1 pitcher for the Bat Busters as well. Now you have something more to talk about when you see Liv down at BP.
That bat buster connection. I need to find out how many Gators have been a bat buster.
I'd say probably a fair amount, right?
A fair amount, yeah. They come to Florida a lot. They go to Oklahoma a lot too.
Mm-hmm. And she was also recruited by Oklahoma, Oregon, Arizona. Walsh lifts this to left field. Fair ball down the line. Gigante got a good jump. Gets the red light at third. Walsh is in with a double. And a good start for the orange and blue here in the home third.
You're liking this combo of Gigante and then Walsh right behind each other. Walsh gets this pitch on the outside corner, and that power shows off here in Walsh's swing. It's okay to pull an outside pitch if you're on time, especially if it ends up being a stand-up double for someone like Reagan Walsh. Now we see Florida here threatening again in the third inning.
It's the third double of the year for Reagan Walsh. Or Kayla Pollard saying, hey, that's my thing. Pollard's hit 7 doubles this year.
You can share the wealth.
See, I'd be selfish about the doubles. It's my thing, guys.
Or just have a hit a double right now, and then you can compete within each other. Kelsey Bruder, her and I were really close when we played here at Florida, and we would always kind of smack talk to each other like that. Like, oh, you're going to try to hit a double after I had a great day? Well, watch me. I'm going to hit a home run.
That's just 2 competitors right there.
Friendly competition.
Friendly in quotes. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Pollard. Actually had an RBI and a fielder's choice ground ball in the first. It's her 12th RBI of her young career. Freshman from Riverside, California. Described as a gap-to-gap hitter. We've seen that. And defensively, can play many positions, mostly in the middle infield, coming to Florida, now out and right. Just celebrated a birthday this past weekend. Strike 3, outside corner. Well done by Taylor.
Taylor being able to pitch herself out of another jam. See where this pitch ends up, right on that outside corner. That is a pitcher's pitch. You can hear the crowd, obviously the Gators not wanting that to be called a strike. That's close. And 2 strikes you have to be able to protect.
Brings in Avery Gels here with 1 gone. Infield in, this is lifted to shallow left. Gigante had to hold. The throw goes to third, nobody was covering. Gigante scores. Walsh down to third on the errant throw. Gels goes to second, and the Gators now up 4-0.
Gels picking up Pollard right after her. She struck out, so Gels gets the first pitch that she sees and is able to line it out into left field. And Gigante has to come back just in case the left fielder Hall is able to catch this. But since it falls, she's able to score.
So RBI and a single for Gels, and E7 should be the reason that Gels moves down to second in the official scoring. Walsh down to third. And now a 4-0 game. Longley rolls it over to third. Dorval throws across, and there's now 2 gone.
You know, I'm really impressed with the Bears and being able to limit a lot of the damage that Florida has been producing in each inning. You know, I feel like every play has had that opportunity to maybe let the floodgates open. But Grace Taylor continuing to come with some big pitches, and her defense backing her up has limited a lot of the damage that Florida could have potentially created.
And they actually have Hedgecock now playing at third. So with that infield shifting and shaking, it's Hedgecock who goes from first to third. And they have Dorval playing second. Well, I believe that's Avery Barton out at second. And Lavina at first. Kistler jams this in the air. Danger, it drops into left center. That brings in 2 more. Walsh and Gels score. 2 ribbies for Katie Kistler. The Gators now running away. It's 6-0.
It's so frustrating as a pitcher when you hit your spot and you make a good pitch that should be an out, but it's a game of inches, and this ball falls where there are no Mercer defenders. Not really much you can do if you're the Bears, but Florida is able to capitalize and collect 2 more runs.
Hit it to the perfect spot out in left center field. Hall couldn't get it. Laudino, the shortstop, just out of her reach. Gators' 8th hit, 6 runs on 8 hits. And another 3 spot on that scoreboard. Turns the lineup over for Kendra Falvey. Kistler, when she's going well, the perfect double leadoff at the 9 spot. That would set the table for Kendra Falvey and the rest of that group. Oh, and 2 here to Kendra Falvey. Got a double and scored on the first, infield hit in the second. Came into the day hitting .467.
That infield double.
That's right, the line drive off the glove of the third baseman that trickled far away for Falvey to get a stand-up double. 1-2. It's been a 6-for-6 weekend for Kendra Falvey. Runner takes off. Lofted foul.
I like the response too from Falvey after the midweek game against UCF where she went 0 for 4. I think maybe had 4 strikeouts. And you mention it all the time, this game is so much about momentum, so you could easily carry that negativeness into the weekend, but not Falvey. She made the necessary adjustments and she showed up.
1-2 to her, bouncer, middle of the infield. Lodino's got to get rid of it quickly, and not in time. So on the weekend for Falby, that's her 4th infield hit. She's now 7 for 7.
Man, I want to be Kendra Falvey. I just want to tap. I want to be able to have that control of the barrel and tap it and just use my speed. It's so impressive.
So it makes her the perfect table setter, leadoff hitter in this lineup. 9th Gator hit. Wallace walked, grounded out to second. One more hit, Gators would have their 12th game with 10 or more knocks. They've scored their 6 runs without a homer today as well. Wallace was looking for one there.
Love that approach, 2-0. That's a hitter's count. So you have 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. As a batter, you need to understand what is your pitch. What are you zoning up? What do you know? What's that one pitch that you can never miss? That you know that even if you're on your worst hitting days, you can hit it out of the park. And that was that pitch right there for Wallace.
This gets away from the catcher. Doesn't matter anyway. Wallace heads down to first, and the base is now loaded here for Charlotte Eccles. Maybe add a grand slam to the ledger this weekend.
Let's see where this pitch hits Skylar Wallace. See her get her foot down, right there on the elbow.
It barely nicked her, right on that perfect spot too, that arm guard.
Just breezed it by.
It's the 3rd time Skylar's been hit this weekend. Crowd sensing something big is about to happen. You can't argue with that. As Eccles just swings at the first pitch, pops it up. I think the crowd jinxed it. 1 pitch for the final out. Bases left loaded. The Gators up 6-zip, 3 runs in that 3rd. We head to the 4th. Lindsay Fico, former Florida Gator from 03 to 06, 107. Lindsay Fico, former Florida Gator from 03 to 06, 170 games, 112 career starts. And talking about some of the great memories with her during the week, you got a chance to recall that thing we talked about, the recruiting visit that you had here when you first met Lindsay. And she laughed about it because she actually remembered when she first met you on that recruiting trip. One of her best memories was beating that Monica Abbott Tennessee team. Said that she hit the best that weekend than she had her entire life when they beat the Lady Vols. And recalls right away after the first week of practices telling her dad, saying, this guy's gonna win championships, not singular, championships. Get a chance as well to play again Kristen Butler, former teammate of hers at Rutgers. Kristen got the best of her in the first game yesterday. It was a 6-3 Rutgers victory. A whole lot of going down memory lane this weekend. Coach Walton, Coach Fico, and Coach Butler. Hitchcock skies this to second base, where Reagan Walsh is underneath it.
I like when we heard Coach Fico walked over to some of the Gator fans and said, hey, you can't yell at me, you can't diss me, but you can for Butler, but you got to play nice for me. Love that she can play into the crowd.
That's the best part about this KSP crowd. Very vocal, and you can always hear them very clearly in our microphones. Kylie Helm stands in. They called the back-to-back home runs yesterday between Eccles and Gigante, if you remember. They said, you know, Liv, let's go back-to-back. Next pitch, went back-to-back.
They did. I mean, Some of these fans have been here since like I played here. They're dedicated. So they kind of like know what they want to see a lot. And they're not shy to say their opinion.
They've watched a lot of wins in this ballpark. Fan base that travels really well. And traveling with this Gator team, it's always fun to see the amount of people that wait after the games by the bus for autographs. I mean, it takes a long time after games to get back to the hotel. You're signing a lot of autographs for Gator fans after games.
But that's the cool part, because a lot of these collegiate players, they remember themselves being a youth athlete and watching the college players play and waiting for those autographs. And then the next moment, you're the one that's signing your name on a little girl's jersey or a little girl's ball. It's pretty surreal. And that's why it's so cool when you get to go to the Women's College World Series, because everything is just amplified. And you talk about autographs that you're signing. I mean, there's like a huge line and there's a special area to where you need to sign, and it becomes almost like a surreal experience when you get there for your first time.
3-2 with one out to Kylie Helm. Jams this on a line to third, right to Eccles for the second out. I don't think I've asked you this before, but who's your favorite softball player growing up?
My older sister.
Okay.
Christina Anea. She played softball at Oklahoma University for Patty Gasso. Actually, Coach Walton recruited her there when he was an assistant coach. So she was a player I always looked up to my entire life. I still look up to her.
Eccles gets another turn at it. This one on the ground. 5-3 for the out. 2, 3, and 4 for the Bears. Goes down 1, 2, 3. Gators trying to get this in run roll territory. Comes in for the Bears.
Now, someone like Katie really doesn't have a lot of zip behind her ball that focuses more on spin. So she's going to be in that 58-mile-per-hour range. But fastball, rise ball is her out pitch, and everything has that up spin to it. So she's going to try to produce a lot of swings underneath the ball, whereas Florida's going to have to focus on seeing top half.
Pitched over 128 career innings. Just a sophomore. Graduated high school early last year. Came to the Bears pretty raw. Coach Fico said she was wide-eyed when she first came to Mercer, learning to take care of her body. Learned a lot under Hannah Pitts last year, who was one of their top pitchers. Did start yesterday against Rutgers, went 2 2/3, 4 earned runs, allowed 6 hits. Gigante takes inside 3-1. This is her second appearance against an SEC school. Had a rough go of it against South Carolina on February 24th. 8 earned runs on 7 hits in 3 2/3 innings. Gigante lofts this in the air, right center field. Woods, long run over for the out.
Those are the kind of outs that Katie really wants to see. Like I mentioned, a lot of her pitches have that up spin, that natural up spin, especially with that rise ball. So if she can produce those easy fly outs, she'll be able to be effective.
There's Reagan Walsh. Walked and doubled down the left field line her last time. Rockets this back up the middle. First pitch ambush. The Gators' second baseman. Gators now 10 hits. And they'll get Sam Rowe to hit here in the 6th spot.
There's a pitch right down the middle, and Walsh is not going to let that cookie up. Just able to pound it right back up the middle to get that single.
A couple of really good swings from Reagan Walsh. Reminder, we'll have the second game of this doubleheader. Gators and Louisiana, top 25 matchup. About 30 minutes after the final out of this one. Gators get 2 more runs in this inning. Would send Mercer down to their final 3 outs. in the top half of the 5th. Sam Rowe, who's going to hit here in the 6th spot for Kayla Pollard, takes ball 1. This is what we mentioned yesterday, the depth the Gators have off the bench when it comes to the amount of quality at bats you have in that dugout.
And making sure, you know, some like Sam Rowe, Emily Wilkie, they need to be getting as many at-bats as they can off the bench because they get starts every now and then. So you need to make sure that they're seeing live spin as often as possible.
First 3 out of the zone to Sam Rowe, and also you got Pal Egan on deck, who went 1 for 1 yesterday with the double. That's another player that was a Southland Hitter of the Year a season ago. And these are the games you want to get her more at bats. So it looks like she's going to hit the 7th spot. Sam Rowe, high drive in the air left field. Morgan Hall back in front of the track as Rowe got underneath it for out number 2.
Sam Rowe just missed that ball. Might have looked like an easy F7, but if she was slightly more square, that was probably going to be a home run.
Here's Pal Egan, actually came in some of the preseason watch lists, top 100 players in the country. Number 93 D1 softball, number 87 Softball America. Because of those big numbers she put up, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, it's her 3rd college stop. Told me her nickname is Swaggy P.
Swaggy P, that's
Yeah.
a cool nickname. I don't have any cool nicknames like that.
Franny E. Just go with it.
Franny just doesn't sound cool.
You don't like Fran or Franny. That's why
I
we
don't
call
mind-
you Francesca.
I don't mind Fran, but you got to earn the right
I
to
haven't earned
shorten
it.
the name. You've earned it. You call me Fran, just not on air.
Yes, Francesca.
There you go.
1-1 here to Egan. Didn't get any scholarship offers out of high school. She said she was ghosted by the Division I mid-major programs. Went the JUCO route right out of high school. Really made her name there, then made the step up to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And really living out a dream, getting a chance to play at this level, a Power 5, but not any Power 5, but one of the gold standard programs here in Florida. So that's 7 at-bats to start the year, and she has 4 hits. One, 2, hoisted foul.
I love that story. You know, you can never give up on your dream. You have to keep chasing it. Take advantage of every opportunity that's given to you. So, you know, maybe you don't have 4 years at Florida, but you still have this 1 year. And she's going to make the most out of it.
Egan swings, powers one deep to right center field. You can't forget about it. Oh, that was crushed off the bat of Pal Egan. Her 2nd Gator home run. And the Gators continue to add on here in the 4th inning. Get the game in run rule territory. It's 8-0.
Well, she certainly made the most out of this pitch that was elevated and right in her wheelhouse. Take a look at the swing, but most importantly, that bat flip, because she knew it was out of here the moment it hit the barrel. That's a beautiful swing from the transfer, Pal Egan. She's making a name for herself
I'm telling
here.
you what, it's going to earn her more at-bats. She's had 2 at-bats this weekend, both extra base hits, and that one was crushed. She actually went viral for a bat flip she had at her prior stop. It was a much bigger bat flip than the one you saw.
That was subdued bat flip.
Yeah, that was subdued compared to what we've seen from her.
Cautious bat flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was crushed.
Unpopular opinion, I'm here for bat flips.
Oh, flip them all you want.
Exactly. Make it fun. Have some fun. Show it. Hitting a home run, that's hard to do.
Well, you know how it is when something's new and fresh. it gets some backlash in the beginning, and then after a while, people are like, all right, it's part of the game. Just like some of the new rules in baseball to speed things up, some people don't like it, and after a while, you'll be like, all right, I'm okay with it.
I agree, and it's all about trying to get in, new viewers, net new viewers, right? And a lot of people say the game can be slow, so let's just cut out some things that we don't need. Because I get very defensive when people say that they don't like baseball because it's slow. And I'm like, but it's such a beautiful sport. And they're like, where's the beauty? I'm like, well, come sit down with me and I'll show you. And then they're like, no, the game's too long.
Meanwhile, here's Wilkie. 2-2 count. And we'll see, maybe in the not too distant future, if there are some rules that are applied to softball to maybe even speed up this game. Wilkie whips one in the air to center field. Woods a long run, and that will do it. Well, Pal Egan puts this game in run rule territory. Gators 3 outs away. Egan's second Gator home run, 8-0 lead. 8 runs, 11 hits. Mercer, no runs, no hits, pause, 1 error. Riley Trillichek looking to go the distance. She's done it once in her career, having not allowed a hit in a complete game, and has an opportunity here for some history.
Well done. How political of you.
Riley Trillichek right now is throwing a no-hitter, for those that have not figured that out. People tune in and out, you got to know the facts.
I agree. It's a big fact.
Pal Egan is in right field now as Morgan Hall takes a strike. Riley Trillichek, in her first year as a Florida Gator, opening weekend against South Florida, facing Georgia State, threw a no-hitter back in 2020. This is a week where Mercer had a perfect game thrown against him. Valerie Cagle started for Clemson. The 0-2's foul back. Reset the defense for the Gators. You got Falby in left, Kistler in center. Pal Egan is now in right. Through to first, Eccles, Wallace, Walsh, Gigante's now at first. You got Longley catching. Here's the 0-2.
Oh, that's a good pitch.
Very good pitch.
I don't know how you lay off that if you're Morgan Hall. That's close, especially 2 strikes. That's a good take, though, from Morgan Hall, especially with 2 strikes. You think that you bait on that.
Bouncer right back to Trillichek. Does it herself for out number 1.
I've seen the adjustment right there from Trillichek. You see that Hall isn't swinging and missing on that inside pitch, so she adjusts it just slightly more over the plate to get the easy ground ball out, 1-3. I don't want to say easy. She had to jump up a little high for it, but.
Here's Sophie Sumner. First pitch dialed in for a strike. The first batter, Rebecca Laudino, walked. Since that point, nothing for Mercer. 9 groundouts, 3 flyouts. Trillichek has 1 strikeout in her start. Quickly 0-2.
She's just been in command of her pitches. We said it after she gave up that leadoff walk, is when she's able to get ahead and locate her drop ball and locate that drop curve. She's extremely effective, and she's been doing just that.
2-strike pitch.
A lot of times as a batter, if you're trying to make an adjustment off of a drop ball pitcher, you have 2 ways to make that adjustment. You go up in the box to try to get the ball before it drops and focus underneath, bottom half, or you go in the back of the box and you tell yourself, hey, I'm not swinging at that drop ball. I got to let it go.
Like Sumner more in the back of the box. floated towards first. That hits the netting.
The biggest thing is you got to stick to what your plan is. So if you go back in that box, you can't swing at the drop ball. But if you go up, you got to be aggressive.
Swing and a miss. Trilicek is 1 out away from some history here on this Saturday.
Trilicek's at her best when she's producing those ground balls, but why not trickle in a strikeout as well, right below the kneecaps of Sophie Sumner.
She's retired 14 in a row after a leadoff walk. Gators have thrown 25 no-hitters in their program's history. Here's Avery Barton in the 7th spot. She came in to play second base. The 0-1 bounced to short. Wallace on a third hop to first. Second career no-hitter for Riley Trilicek. Some history for the left-hander as the Gators shut out the Mercer Bears. The 26th no-hitter in program history. Thanks to Riley Trilicek, who gets a standing O.
And I love seeing the players just surround her and giving her a good job. And I love seeing the hype from the other pitchers. They all start jumping up around her. They know how hard that is to try to get a no-hitter. It's an incredible job from Riley Trilicek in the circle today.
Retires the final 15 to the plate after a leadoff walk. Mercer did not have a base runner after that. Almost perfect today was Riley Trilicek. Stick around. 30 minutes from now, the Gators will take on the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. It actually still is 1:30, so it'll be an hour from now. It was originally slated for 1:30, so 1:30 will be our first pitch time for the Gators and the Ragin' Cajuns. Final score here from Gainesville, 8-0 Gators. Riley Trilicek, a no-hitter today. Come on back on the SEC Network Plus at 1:30.